What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my first impression and the stat speculation for the Three Houses banner that we're getting on Monday. This trailer came a bit early than what I was expecting, and the first unit we have is Edelgard. So it was pretty obvious that this was going to be a Three Houses banner, and she's a infantry axe unit. So her direct competition are going to be Linus and Raven. Edelgard appears to be a pretty good unit to me, and her weapon is Victorious Axe, so it reduces the special trigger cooldown, and it has got the same condition as Flame Segment, which Ephraim has got. So if she has got more foes within 2 spaces than allies, then she will get a guaranteed follow-up attack. So this is really powerful, makes her a pretty good Gale Force unit in my opinion, because she already has the -1 special cooldown, and I think that she's going to be having really high attack. So you could just run Heavy Blade on her slot A and run like Heavy Blade on another unit, so you can have double Gale Force unit, and you could definitely save the Heavy Blade Sacred Seal in that regard. So this is a pretty powerful weapon, and then she's got Luna as her special attack defense solo, what synergizes really well with Victorious Axe and Dull Close. So finally, after a year, we have got Dull Close on an actual summonable unit who's not seasonal. I say finally as if people were waiting for this skill, but still it's something, and her slot C skill is Rouse Attack Defense 3. So this is the new line of skill that we have got in FEH now, and if the unit is not adjacent to an ally, it grants +6 attack and defense buff to the unit for 1 turn. So this is a visible buff, and this is really powerful, not really as situational as a wave skill, so you could actually control this, not be near an ally, and then start out with the buff. Now you can also make use of the tactic skills with these kinds of skills, also make use of drive skills, but you would just have to make sure that you do not end your turn beside an ally unit, otherwise the next turn you're not going to be getting this buff. So this appears to be a pretty good thing for infantry units, because we don't really have Honed Infantry or Fortified Infantry. Something tells me that this might just be limited to infantry units, I feel like. So that's the skill on her. It's really good because it focuses on attack and defense, and she already makes a guaranteed follow-up attack with her weapon, so speed is not really a big deal for her, and it goes really well with attack defense solo. So she appears to be a really powerful unit just based on her skill set alone. And as I said, her main competition is going to be Raven and Linus, because they also can function as a really good Gale Force unit, but they are much faster than Edelgard, and Edelgard doesn't really appear to be all that fast. So I will tell why she isn't really all that fast, because this Lance Flyer is able to double Edelgard, and she's going to be triggering Luna here, and she's going to be doing 69 damage.
Nice.
So because she got 11 points of extra damage from Luna, this Lance Flyer has got 22 defense, and I've considered the weapons triangle advantage Edelgard has, and to do 58 damage to this Lance Flyer, she must have 67 attack during the combat. And after you subtract her slot A skill and slot C skill and also her weapons might, she ends up at 39 base attack, which is really good. And the Lance Flyer is able to double Edelgard, and generic Lance Flyers usually have 35 base speed, which means that she must have 30 speed or less than that. So that's why I think Edelgard is not going to be all that fast. So she's got 41 HP, we can see that, and I'm just going to put her speed as 30. Anything lower than that is also something that is possible. And I think she's going to be having pretty good defense at base 35 and workable resistance at base 28. I think she's going to be getting the trainee bonus, which is going to put her at around 173 BST, which is a lot. So Na and Fallen Corrin are the other 2 units who have that trainee bonus. Corrin had absolutely no reason to get the trainee bonus, but she has that. And I think Edelgard is a bit more fit to get that trainee bonus, because she is a trainee, because this is pre-time skip. So I think that's a possibility which we have to keep in mind. They might have the trainee bonus, at least Edelgard. So Edelgard appears to be a really powerful unit with base 39 attack if my speculation is right, and she can hit extremely hard, and she can function as a really good Gale Force unit, and that is extremely useful for Ether Raid's offense. But you could just smite her into the range of the enemy and begin the Gale Force shenanigans. You could also run Escape Route on her slot B skill if she falls under 50% health, which I don't think it's going to be that easy, because I think she's going to be bulky. So if my speculation is right, she's not all that fast, she hits extremely hard, and she has pretty good bulk. So that's Edelgard for you. And then we have got Dimitri. So in my opinion, I got most disappointed by Dimitri, because he's a Lance Cavalier. Why would you make him a Lance Cavalier when he could be an infantry Lance unit? I'm not exaggerating, but we haven't got a Lance Infantry unit since Shiro, and that was years ago. So I really do not understand why they would make him a Lance Cavalier when we already have so much competition in that class. We have got Finn, we have got Perry, we have got Oscar as the budget options for Lance Cavaliers. In terms of premium option, we have got Legendary Ephraim, who has appeared on multiple Legendary banners, and Dimitri functions pretty similarly to Legendary Ephraim. So yeah, he has got Noble Lance. He only has 4 skills. It's a 19 might weapon, and its other effect is pretty confusing, so I'm just gonna simplify it. So if Dimitri and the foe both have got full HP, then he doubles. And if Dimitri and his foe are not at full health, then he still doubles. So in short, for him to get double, either both of them have to be at full HP or neither of them have to be at full HP. If it's something like if Dimitri is at full health and the enemy is not at full health, then he's not going to be able to get the guaranteed follow-up attack. So that's the weapon. It's kind of cheesy, I guess. Legendary Ephraim's weapon is a bit more consistent, doesn't really rely on HP all that much. And it's pretty good on a cavalry unit. His special is Vengeance, which makes sense because he wants to kill every last one of them. And Death Blow 4 is a slotted skill which goes really well with his weapon, doesn't really care about the speed, so he wants to maximize his damage output. And Slot B skill is a new line of skill as well. It's called Lull Attack Defense 3. I feel really weird saying lull like that. And this inflicts -3 defense and -3 attack on the foe during the combat, and it also neutralizes foes' bonuses if they're allocated to their defense or attack. This is in combat debuff, which means that it can be stacked up by visible debuffs like chill attack, chill defense, stuff like that, which is pretty powerful now that we are getting skills like chill attack and chill defense for Sacred Seal slot. So this makes him hit really hard. He effectively has +11 attack when he initiates the combat with a Slot A and Slot B skill. And lull skills are really good on like fire sweep units who have their Slot B open, or on units who use brave weapons and they do not have the speed to quad attack. So instead of running Desperation, they can just run this skill and get more damage and just take out the enemy in 2 hits. So it's gonna be really powerful on units like that, and it can be useful on our man Reinhardt whenever we get lull attack resistance. That's gonna be pretty nice on him. So while these lull skills will be facing a lot of competition, being a Slot B skill, it's mainly there for the player phase units who are not really fast enough to use something like Desperation. It's not really all that useful for enemy phase units, and it's mainly useful for like certain types of player phase units who can make use of this. So it definitely has its niche on select few units, and Dimitri is definitely going to be one of them. So here he's going to be triggering his Vengeance. We can see that he has lost 10 HP, so he has got 40 base HP. So generic sword fighters usually have around 30 defense, but because he has got the lull skill active, I'm calculating based on that. So he must have 62 attack during the combat to do 48 damage to the sword fighter. And after subtracting his 19 might weapon and Death Blow 4, he ends up at 35 base attack, which is not really a lot. Legendary Ephraim has got 36 base attack, and I think he's gonna be pretty stocky at base 35 defense as well. Same speed as Legendary Ephraim and slightly more resistance than him. So he's quite reminiscent to Legendary Ephraim, basically what I'm trying to say. Which is good because Legendary Ephraim has got a big flaw which kind of discourages people from using him in ether raids, and that is his legendary status. You cannot use him outside of the fire season in ether raids if you're trying to get the max lift, obviously. So I guess they figured out that people love using those kinds of Gale Force units based on the statistics that they might have, and they're releasing Dimitri, who's quite similar to Legendary Ephraim. I would have expected like a bit higher attack on him, maybe base 38. But if my calculations are not wrong, then he ends up at 35 base attack. Something to keep in mind while using Dimitri is that you should not use certain skills on him, like Fury, because it creates that anomaly between the HP of his foe and himself. And you should also not use something like Savage Blow if you're not running Fury on his slot A, because once again, it's going to be creating that anomaly. And also someone like Duma with his upheaval is going to be annoying teammate with him, because Duma will have all of the foes at not full HP, and if Dimitri is at full HP, then he's not going to be able to get the follow-up attacks. So there are definitely some things which you have to keep in mind if you want to have Dimitri's weapon trigger at all times. So that's Dimitri for you. And then finally we have got Claude, the Schemer. I don't really like that kind of title on him, and he's a bow cavalier. And he has got Cunning Bow. Why? Why would you name his weapon Cunning Bow? He's so smooth. He's so chill. He's just flirtatious. I don't know what's cunning about him. Just leave him alone. The Schemer, Cunning Bow, like what are you trying to tell us? This legendary weapon gives him +3 speed, and if the total sum of the bonuses on Claude and the penalties on the foe is 10 or more than 10, then he inflicts -5 debuff to all stats of the foe during the combat. So once again, this is an in-combat debuff, meaning that you can stack this up with visible debuffs like defense smoke on his kid, and this also stacks up with the lull speed defense on his lobby skill. And this is really good because he's a horse unit, so he has easy access to the horse emblem buffs. You can combine this with chill skills, ploy skills, and other kinds of debuffs from stuff like Chilling Seal from Guntra, and also the shrine structures in Ether Raids. So you can just stack this up with the debuff of the bow because it's an in-combat debuff, and that makes Claude really powerful. And this is much needed on Claude because from my speculation, he's not looking all that hot when it comes to stats. So he has got Glimmer as a special. This is not gonna be all that good of a special on a unit like him, to be honest. And he's got lull speed defense, which is pretty good and helpful because he is gonna be speed oriented unit. And defense debuff is definitely something he needs. And finally, he has got defense smoke as his slotsy skill, which does stack up with lull speed defense and also his weapon. And you can easily just pair this up with Speed Smoke Sacred Seal or Attack Smoke Sacred Seal. We can see that he has got 39 HP here, and the biggest red flag I see here is that he's not doubling the blue flyer, and even though he has got the effective damage, he only does 50 damage to this blue flyer. And generally, blue mage flyers have 16 defense, and if the lull skill is active, then they must have 13 defense during this combat. So for Claude to do 50 effective damage to this mage, he must have 46 attack during the combat. And this is not considering his weapons effect because I don't believe that his weapons effect is active in this combat. And blue flyers also have 37 base speed. So even though his lull skill is active on this blue flyer, he's still not able to double this flyer, so he will have less than 39 speed, and that also supports my theory that his weapons effect is not active in this combat. So he's got 39 HP, 32 base attack is what I'm expecting after you subtract the weapons might from his 46 attack that he has during the combat, and he will have 35 base speed as well because the weapon gives him +3 speed and he ends up at 38 base speed, so he's not able to double this blue flyer. And I'm expecting him to have 24 defense because I did calculate the resistance of Claude based on the damage this Blair Serpent Blue Flyer does to him. So he's going to be ending up with this much bulk. Claude is pretty deceptive even though his stats might look like this. 32 base attack isn't very high, but still you have to consider the fact that he is going to be getting the in-combat debuff with his bow, and that is pretty easy to trigger a lot of the times. You can combine it with chill skills, the shrine debuffs, and the ploy skills, and all kinds of debuffs to make him really powerful. So I think he's definitely going to be having a place in Ether Raid's defense teams, and in general for clearing a lot of the in-game content, he's going to be useful because he's a horse cavalier with good range, and he can be powerful if you have the right team. So that's Claude. I wouldn't really say that he's incredibly busted or he's incredibly underwhelming. We'll have to see how his stats actually turn out to be, and I think he might get demoted. I mean, I'm not really too sure if we're going to be getting any kind of demotion from this banner, but if there's any kind of chance of getting a demotion, then it has to be Claude because he doesn't have very good skills compared to the other lords. He still has the new lull skill, so I'm not really too sure if they want to demote a unit which has got that skill, but still, if we're getting any demotion, then it's probably going to be Claude. But the chances of getting a demotion are always pretty shaky these days. The next unit we have on this banner and the final unit is Female Byleth. So she's a sword infantry unit, extremely oversaturated class type. She's got plenty of competition, but still she brings some new stuff to the table because she's got Creator's Sword. So this is the legendary weapon which both versions of Byleth will probably have. It accelerates the special trigger cooldown, and it basically has null follow-up built into it, and it also has null special, I guess, because she is not going to be affected by any kind of skill that prevents or accelerates the special cooldown. For example, she just invalidates breath skills on the enemy like Warding Breath, Steady Breath, Bold Fighter, Vengeful Fighter, stuff like that, and she's immune to Guard and Special Fighter, which is huge because she can easily run Heavy Blade and Flashing Blade herself, and because she gets the -1 cooldown from her weapon, she can actually function as a pretty good Gale Force unit because Null Follow-Up is gonna help her bypass stuff like Weary Fighter. She's not gonna get stopped by Guard or Special Fighter or like Steady Stance 4 or Warning Stance 4, stuff like that. So that is really good. She's also unaffected by the Breath skills and stuff like Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade on the foe. And she's also immune to Sturdy Impact, so that's that. So there are a lot of meta skills which Female Byleth is basically able to invalidate with her sword. And it's mostly the arena skills, I would say. In Arena Assault, sure, she could function as a pretty good Gale Force unit, as I mentioned before. But those kinds of skills are not really used all that much in Ether Raids, I would say. And she has got Rapture Sky as her special. This is gonna be an exclusive special. It boosts damage by 20% of foe's attack, and if the combat is against Dragon Foe or a Beast Foe, then she gets 40% damage instead of 20%. This is gonna be an exclusive special, and it's, to be honest, a bit situational because you're basing it off on the foe's attack. And if you have stuff like Chill Attack, Attack Smoke, stuff like that on your team, then their visible attack is going to be lowered. You're not going to be able to get all that much damage output out of this special. It's not really all that good against a human foe because you're only going to be getting 20% of the damage. Like, if they have got 60 attack, you're still going to be getting only 12 points of additional damage. That's not a lot. But if she's against a Dragon Foe or a Beast Foe, then she absolutely devours them because she gets 40% damage output. For example, if you're facing a Beast or a Dragon Foe who has got 50 attack, then you get 20 points of additional damage with this special, and this is a 1-turn cooldown special on Byleth, which you could have ready at the start of turn if you're in the Wrath range. So that is really incredible. She just absolutely demolishes someone like Tiborn because Sturdy Impact does not work because of her sword, and she absolutely destroys Tiborn on the retaliation with her special because she's going to be getting so much damage output. Like, it's not very uncommon for a Beast or a Dragon unit to have 60 attack after buffs and stuff like that. So you're going to be getting 24 points of damage against that kind of foe. You can also get the additional damage from Wrath. Pretty good special against Dragon foes and Beast foes, but it's not really all that good against human foes. And she's got Fury 4 as her slot A skill. Pretty good, I guess. Goes really well with Wrath because you could just put yourself into the range of that. And finally, she's got even Attack Wave. Byleth's sword is really powerful with all of the effects that she has got going for her, and it's definitely really useful in Arena and Arena Assault, and even in Ether Raids she can act as a really good Gale Force unit because she bypasses Weary Fighter, Guard, Special Fighter, stuff like that, so that makes her a really effective Gale Force unit. And now she's gonna be able to destroy this Axe Cavalier with her special. She is in the Wrath range, just keep that in mind. Its animation is pretty cool on the sides, but unfortunately, I'm disappointed because they didn't have the whip animation with her sword, which is kind of underwhelming, to be honest. So she has got 40 HP, as we can see from the HP that she has got missing, and she does 64 damage to this guy. She got 20 points of additional damage, 10 points from Wrath, and 10 points from her special. So this means that this Axe Cavalier has got around 48 to 50 attack, and generic Axe Cavaliers usually have 25 defense, so she must have 58 attack during the combat. And after subtracting her weapon, Fury, and also even Attack Wave, because I believe that she's getting that buff, she ends up at 32 base attack, which is not very high, but I think she's gonna be having extremely high speed, and she's gonna be the fastest unit in the game, even by passing Marita, in my opinion. I could definitely see that happening, and I think she's gonna be having decent bulk and alright resistance, I guess. So that's my speculation on Byleth and her stat spread. She's gonna be really fast, and speed is definitely a key to get the most out of the effects that she's got on her weapon, which are really strong. And this could also end up on the other side. I mean, they could definitely give her more attack if she has not got the even attack wave buff in this trailer, but I think she has that. So that's my speculation out of Byleth. Definitely appears to be a strong infantry sword unit. Who would have guessed? But she's definitely going to be facing a lot of competition, but her sword is definitely very amazing. So that's the banner. We're also going to be getting a Three Houses Grand Tour Battle unit on 3rd of August. And it's going to be Cronier, aka Clown Perry, aka Alolan Perry. And she appears to be a dagger unit from the information that we have got. So she's gonna be an infantry dagger unit, which is interesting. Hopefully she's got some useful skills and a legendary dagger. That would be pretty nice. Out of this banner, I would say that Claude and Byleth are looking the highlights to me, personally. Edelgard is also pretty good, and she can act as a good Gale Force unit, but it doesn't really work all that well with an infantry movement. If she was a horse unit, that would be even better with her weapon, but still she can work out pretty well. And as I said, Dimitri is looking pretty similar to legendary Ephraim. Now, even though you're caught up in the hype of Three Houses, I just want to remind you that we're going to be getting the time skip versions of these lords sooner or later in FEH. So you could definitely save your orbs for that as well. A lot of people really like Dimitri's time skip look. So that's something for the Dimitri fans. And we're also going to be getting Male Byleth at the end of this month, because they did say that Male Byleth is going to be summonable in late July. And by late July, they probably mean the mythic banner. So he could be a light mythic hero, I guess. So that's something. Hopefully they do not spoil too many things on his voice lines, because I'm definitely scared of that. So Male Byleth is looking like the mythic hero most likely. And even the next banner could be Three Houses, who knows. And eventually these lords are going to be getting the time skip versions. They might even be legendary versions. So that's something you have to look forward to. We're also getting Choose Your Legends 3 banner next month. So you have to watch out for that as well. And you could save your orbs for that. So yeah, you definitely have to be pretty careful with your orbs around this time. So that's going to be it for my first impression. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like and share this video with your friends who are excited for this banner. And if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. And please be sure to hit that notification bell and click on all, so that you can always get the updates to my videos whenever I upload. Because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Dimitri's sanity after the time skip. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.